Confused by how aperture and shutter speed affect your exposure? Stick around and be demystified. Hey y'all, welcome to Professional Photography Tips. I'm Josh Cripps, and here's everything you need to understand about shutter speed, aperture, and exposure. Still confused? I can't say I blame you, so let's take a closer look. You can think about every photo you take as a cup being filled up with water. The cup is your image, and the water is light. Now there are a lot of different ways to fill this cup up. I can open the faucet all the way wide, the water gushes in and the cup fills up really quickly. Or I can just barely crack the tap. The water dribbles in and it takes a much longer time to fill that cup up. And this, my friends, describes exactly the relationship between aperture and shutter speed. Open your aperture all the way wide, light streams into your camera and fills up your image quickly, giving you a short shutter. Scrunch your aperture down to a little pinhole, and it takes a while for that light to fill up the image, resulting in a long shutter speed. Of course, this assumes you're filling your cup up with the right amount of water, because it's also possible to overfill your cup. Open the faucet too far too long, and sploosh, your cup runneth over. This is exactly what happens when you overexpose an image. Too much light let in for too long. Conversely, you can also underfill your cup. A wee little stream let in for just a short time means you only have a little puddle in the bottom of your cup. I mean, you can barely even see if there's water in there. That's what happens when you underexpose. Just a little light splashing around at the bottom of your image. And that's it. That's everything you need to understand about the relationship between shutter speed, aperture, and exposure. Open your aperture way up, well then you need to choose a short shutter speed so that your cup doesn't overflow. Or if you want a really long shutter, well you better cinch that aperture down tight to get the right exposure. At this point you're probably thinking, well that's great, but how do I know exactly which shutter speed and which aperture to pick? I mean, if there are all these different but somehow equivalent ways of filling my cup up, why should I choose one shutter speed over another? Or why should I choose one aperture over another? You may also be wondering, well, where the heck does ISO fit into this whole mess? Well, we'll be looking at all of that in our next few videos, so be sure to subscribe. And don't forget to check out last week's video. You can also visit my website, joshuacripps.com, for landscape photography tutorials and workshops. Until next time, guys, have fun and happy shooting.